Are there?
Well, we certainly think so. We certainly hope so. I mean, this is a difficult recession, but it is not an unending set of economic circumstances. We will recover. Now, the projections for when that recovery will begin are varied depending upon who you talk with. But we are not just sitting on our hands waiting for it to happen. We have taken it already. In fact, I think we were, if not the first, certainly among the first states. I think we were the first to recognize a long, long time ago what was coming our way. I'm an economic realist, I think. And I can tell you that over the last 2-year period of time, I strongly resisted efforts to use the rainy day fund we had for a variety of purposes. When we first cut the first $733 million out of our budget, the existing budget, I had leaders and the other parties saying to me, "Why are you doing this? We don't think this is necessary. We don't see the need to do this." But it seemed obvious to us as we watched what was happening within this economy that we were in for some difficult times. And as you may recall, we set out 3 scenarios. Best case scenario called for a reduction of $733 million. Then we had a mid-case scenario and a worst-case scenario. We finally reached that mid-case scenario, and we made a second cut. And finally, what we hoped would not happen, but it happened, was the worst-case scenario. And we dealt with that in this current budget. So I think, without patting myself on the back, I think I have a pretty good track record when it comes to looking into the future and determining what we may face. And we have tried to do that as we have dealt with this budget. And I think we have dealt with a very difficult set of circumstances in a very credible way for this upcoming 2010-2011 budget. Now, as I've said before, I am not a prophet. It is impossible to know exactly what's going to happen in the future. We will deal with that as it unfolds. But I believe the fact that we are getting the federal stimulus, not just to help us with our budget issues, but with the infrastructure piece, the broadband technology deployment, and the advanced energy resources that are going to be coming our way. Plus, as I said in my speech, we're going to pursue later this year a second stimulus package that will involve the third frontier expansion and other measures. So I think we're doing all that we can do for ourselves. And I don't expect, I joked and said, well, in 2 years I'll go back and ask Ron Emanuel for another $5 billion. That was a joke. I think we've got a responsibility to do all we can do for ourselves and to work so that we are prepared. One of the reasons that I'm trying to stress education as strongly as I am is that I believe when this recovery occurs, we must be prepared to take advantage of it. Some good things, some very promising things are happening. I'm an optimist, but I think I'm a realist as well. Yes, sir, follow.
Can I ask one follow-up, Governor? I know it's not a major portion of the budget, but the internet sales use tax, will Ohio be more aggressive in trying to collect that?
That's it's interesting how your views change from being a federal officer to being the governor. That's something that I think we need to pursue with our federal delegation. Ohio is, and Ohio-based companies are, in fact, I think, being placed at a disadvantage because that revenue has not been pursued with the kind of aggressiveness that would be helpful. But that's going to take, in my judgment, it's going to take some some federal decision-making to really make it a practical reality.
Hi, Governor. Mark McKenna from